Good morning, guys, and welcome to the Knit in the Grit podcast. My name is Jackson. I am your hostess. You can find me on Instagram at the Knit in the Grit, all written out. And I'm on Ravelry as Jackson Rowe, all one word. And then I do have a Ravelry group for this podcast, and it's the Knit in the Grit podcast. So when you go under the groups tabs, you can just search the Knit in the Grit podcast, and I should pop up. And that is where I will be putting all of the show notes and everything that I kind of talk about in this episode, which I do have a lot to talk about. So something a little new, I am doing an admin section because I have decided to do a KCAL. So I don't know how many people out there are like me, but I'm just a little bit obsessed with Christmas. It is my favorite holiday. It's my favorite time of year. And I usually kind of take like a 3-month break after Christmas, and then I'm back to listening to Christmas music and thinking about Christmas and thinking about gift knits for people and things like that. So I wanted to host what I'm calling the Festive KCAL, and it's going to be festive, KCAL. So this is a knitting and crocheting knit along, and it's geared towards the fall and winter holidays, whatever it may be. Yom Kippur, Halloween, Thanksgiving, Diwali, whatever you celebrate and get really pumped about, I want this KCAL to kind of represent that. And for me, I'll be knitting Christmas things. And so the emphasis is kind of just continuing to keep kind of like your winter, fall, holiday spirits kind of alive like all year round, with theme knits or knits for other people that are going to be geared towards specific holidays that you celebrate. So I know a lot of people out there get really excited for Halloween. So if you get really pumped for Halloween and that's like your favorite holiday of the kind of the end of the year, then go for it. Knit something with pumpkins or Halloween themed ghosts, whatever it may be. Or, my sports bra. Y'all don't need to see my stripy sports bra. But, it can be kind of like anything as long as it's justified in the KCAL. So, I want to get a head start on gift knitting because those are kind of things that take me a really long time. And so I'm kind of planning on making a lot of people socks for Christmas this year, so I want to get started on that now so I'm not in some mad rush to get socks done before the 25th of December. I also really want to make I want to make like a little advent garland of little socks, which I'll talk a little bit about later in my finished objects section. But and then I also want to make myself a color work yoked jumper, kind of like my garter sweater that I'm wearing right now. But I haven't made one in a while, and I kind of I want to do the Hogwarts A History sweater that Bad Wolf Girl, I think that's what she's called, just designed, and I want to make it my Christmas jumper. So those are kind of my plans with this KCAL. It's open to everyone. It's open to kind of anything you want to do as long as you can justify it to me as being festive and holiday themed. So I just thought this would be kind of fun. I imagine there's other people out there who get as pumped for Christmas as I do, or for other holidays like I do, where the entire year kind of you think about it and want to do things for it and stuff like that. So that is something that I am hosting, and I will be opening up a thread on the Ravelry page for the podcast for it. I'm hoping to have that up tomorrow. So the official opening of this KCAL is going to be the 19th of April, so Good Friday. And I am planning on it running through to the last day of November. So November 30th will be the last day, since December starts December 1st, so the next day. But I just figured that would give a lot of time to do that kind of stuff. And then, anything else Christmassy related or not Christmassy related can happen in December. But yeah, I want this to be open to everyone, whether you celebrate a Christian holiday or not, you're atheist, whatever it might be. Like, I want this to be very inclusive. So yeah, I hope other people are excited about this. If it's just me knitting, that's fine too, because I'll continue to do what I'm doing anyways. But I just wanted to talk about that a little bit. Sorry, I'm looking at my notes for this, so I make sure I cover everything. But yeah, so I'll be opening up a thread tomorrow, and the 19th of April is the official start date. And on to the knitty stuff, which I'm sure is what really everyone's here for. You want to see what I've been working on. Oh, and by the way, for anyone who does not know what this is a knitting podcast. A little late in the game for saying that, but this is a knitting podcast. Occasionally sewing, needlepoint, other stuff like that, but right now it is very strong in the knitting department. So on to my knits. So my finished objects, I do have a number of them. The first one I'm going to talk about I don't physically have with me because it was a gift knit and I was finally able to give it to said person. And that would be the Haze scarf by Julie Hoover. And it is a pattern that was written for Brooklyn Tweed, and I did it in Brooklyn Tweed Shelter. It's a kind of fisherman's ribbed scarf with kind of color blocking on it. And I did it in Ember, Storm Cloud, and Fossil in Brooklyn Tweed Shelter. And this was a scarf I made for my boyfriend. I'll put in a picture right now of him wearing it. It is a beast. When I finally finished blocking and everything, it measured out to be 78 inches long. When it's wrapped around my boyfriend's neck, it looks very short, but it looks good on him, so that's all that matters. I had started this scarf back in the fall, thinking that I would have it done in time for us to go to Knoxville for a University of Tennessee football game. That did not happen because I finished this probably right around Valentine's Day. I think I gave it to him on Valentine's Day. So that was a labor of love. It took a really long time. I don't know if that was just because, like, I am not a process knitter, I am a product knitter. I enjoy the process, but I'd much rather have the thing at the end of the process. So when it's not something for me, it is much harder for me to get through it quickly. I enjoy still knitting it, but it takes me a lot longer. So I was really happy to have that off the needles and given that to him. And I'm hoping he will have more use for it next year since he can't really wear it anymore. It's a little toasty outside. It's in the 70s. But that is my first finished object. My second finished object is actually something that I finished yesterday. This isn't going in any kind of order, but so I've only got one sock blocker for this. Got one large sock blocker for the boyfriend socks, but this is the socks I've been making him. Here's the second one. This one is blocked. This one on the blocker is not. I need to give it a wash and let it block, but I'm planning on giving it to him this weekend. It might have to sit on the blocker in the car and for the rest of the day, but he'll be having these this weekend, so I wanted to podcast before I had to give these to him. But I'm calling these boyfriend's blizzard socks. So I did not follow a particular pattern for this. I just casted on 72 stitches on 2.5 millimeter needles and did a 3x1 rib with a broken rib on, or a garter rib kind of happening down there. So that is what I have made him. This is in Barnyard Knits Blizzard colorway in like kind of her normal sock yarn. This is honestly probably my favorite like color ever. I don't know why, but it's just kind of like an icy blue gray color with lots of speckles. This one has a little bit more speckling happening on it, but these are two different balls of yarn, so nothing I can really do about that because I ran out of the first ball since I made myself a pair of socks out of this very yarn. But I'll be giving these to him. I've been working on these for a while too, and these just take a long time because his feet are so much longer than mine. But I casted this one off yesterday while binge watching Outlander. I'm a little late to the game on the Outlander bandwagon, but I have watched all of the first season, and I'm halfway through season 2, and I started this watching Outlander on Monday. I haven't watched any today, but so basically 3 days and I am through a season and a half. But I love these. I'm so excited to give them to him. I like making socks for him, but they take a while. They're big feet, whereas I have little nugget feet. Not little nugget feet. I wear a size 8, but I don't have to cast on as many stitches, and I don't have to do so much for the foot. So, yeah. Finished. My next finished object I've been working on for quite a while, but y'all haven't seen it very much on the podcast, I don't think. I think I've only talked about it on one other episode, so I think I only talked about this on episode 7. But I started this when I got back from Christmas, and this is A Girl's Best Friend shawl by Isabel Kramer. It is a triangular shawl. I'll put it on. It's just lovely. Oh, the light just got really dark. Focus on my face. This is A Girl's Best Friend shawl, and I've been dying to make this for quite some time, and the yarn finally came in last year, and I finally got some things off the needles to where I could justify actually casting this on. So this is a really wonderful textured shawl pattern. This is the first of probably many shawls because now I've got a little bit of a shawl bug. But I'm super happy to have it, and it's really soft. So I did this in 6 and 7 fiber. They had a kit for this, and I got this in the Amaranth base, which is a non-superwash merino yarn. So this kind of creamy gray natural color is Gray Lady, and then this like mauvey pink, which you see a lot more up here, is Learning to Love, and then the yellow color down here is Ginger Snap. I always forget this one. I always say it's something it's not, but I think it's Ginger Snap. I'm in love, and I blocked it, and now it fits super great, and it's so soft and comfortable. I wish it was colder outside so I could actually wear it out and about places, but I'll probably be wearing it this weekend. So I'm going to a wedding, and it's Easter this weekend, but I'm going to church with my boyfriend and his family, so I might wear this when we go to church because I tend to get really cold. But I'm in love, and this is so cozy, and I didn't think I was going to like the non-superwash base, but I actually really like it, and it's very soft. And since I hand wash my knits anyways, I'm not too bothered by the fact that it doesn't have any whatever the stuff is that they use to make it superwash. But I really like it. It's super soft and cozy. It makes me really happy, and I just kind of like that it's such a soft color, and it's not really something that I have a lot in my wardrobe, but it still looks very neutral, so it'll look well with a lot of things. My next finished objects are kind of go together, so I'm going to show all of them even though they're not all finished objects. But I've been making baby socks. So that's been happening. Focus on the socks. There we go. And then it got dark. Okay. But we will fix that. I've been making baby socks. These two are in autumn and indigo minis that I've had for a little while. I got like a fall mini set. So none of these came with names when I got them. So I've just been knitting on them. So these two follow the Perfect Newborn sock pattern that Tabitha Gandy came out with Hey Sister Yarn Co. because they made little tiny baby sock blockers that are really cute. So they came out with their kind of basic baby sock formula and these little sock blockers and sock kits. I got one of the sock kits. I've got them somewhere. I'll see if I can find them later. But I got 4 little baby sock blockers, and so these two are just 2x2 rib, whereas this other one that I've made is a stockinette vanilla sock with a slip stitch heel. So it kind of follows like kind of my usual vanilla sock, just baby sized. And this is a sparkly mini, which I don't know is really going to show up. But it's a sparkly mini that I got from Barnyard Knits. I don't get why it keeps going dark anytime I hold anything close to the camera. But I got this from Barnyard Knits because I got an advent calendar last year. And I haven't really known what to do with my minis, but, oh, my allergies. But this is kind of like a great way to kind of work through them, because I want to make, for my festive KCAL, a baby sock garland. So either I might get more baby sock blockers, but I need to kind of look at the cost and kind of figure out if that's really something I want to actually do. That I'll just have them hanging on little tiny clothesline clips on a little bit of string. But the plan is to make 24 pairs or 12 pairs, probably 12 pairs of baby socks, and have them hanging on a string to make 24 socks total. And this is kind of like the first one that I'm thinking about possibly doing that, or I might sell this one. I'm not sure. But either way, these are really cute. They're so small and you can get them done in just like a few hours, so it's really instant gratification, which is why I made my first one, which was this one, this brown one. Show up. This brown one. Because I wanted something that I could get done really fast and feel good about. So yeah, little baby sock pattern / baby sock plans are in action. Even though none of my friends are pregnant. Well, I have a friend who is pregnant, and but I don't know if she would want baby socks, like hand knit ones. I just don't know. But either way, baby socks, those are happening. And I just really love them. They're so tiny and cute. I can't get over how cute they are. So I'm probably going to continue to make like little baby stuff and just kind of have a stock for when anyone gets pregnant. That probably sounds very weird, but oh well. Too bad. That's what I'm doing. But that's kind of it for my knits. Now onto my massive pile of grits. So my works in progress are numerous. I have had a fair amount of cast-on-itis, and it has, I wouldn't say it's too overwhelming, but there is a lot of new stuff without there being a crazy amount of stuff that's been cast off. But we're just gonna roll with it. I'm just gonna keep working on things, and apparently I really like having a lot of things on the needles, even though it kind of stresses me out sometimes. So this first work in progress is a no frills sweater. So this is by Petite Knits, for those of you who don't know, but this is like crazy popular at the moment. It is a fingering weight sweater held double with silk mohair, so super fluffy. You can kind of see a little bit of the halo here. The colors aren't showing up very well, but this is a very creamy based yarn, and with these really wonderful speckles of pink and orange. So this is Hue Loco's Fig colorway on her Phyllis sock base and her silk mohair in the Snowshoes colorway. So it's a creamy white mohair and this like cute pink speckly sock yarn. I was originally hoping to have this done by Easter. Obviously that has not happened because I am just now on the body, but I have separated for the sleeves, so that's very exciting. And this is my first time ever doing a top-down sweater of any sort. So definitely first time doing a top-down raglan, and I have another top-down more yoked sweater that I will show y'all later. But I'm really loving this. This is really fun to knit with. I really like Hue Loco's silk mohair because it doesn't shed as much as some other mohairs that I've worked with before in the past. And I tend to be very sensitive if mohair is like kind of fluffing up in my nose, which as I'm holding this up near my face, my nose is itching a little bit. But this one I haven't noticed really shed a lot. So as I've been working on it, I haven't been having too much issues with my nose being itchy or my eyes getting itchy or anything like that. So that's really nice. This is gonna be so soft. I really wanted one that was, I wanted a yarn that was gonna speckle a fair bit. So I'm loving how this is turning out. That's the front, and then this is the back. I did have a tiny little, wait, this is the front, sorry. This is the front, whereas this is the back, and I had a little tiny snafu with the helical knitting. So I am alternating skeins, but I'm using the helical knitting method. And I was kind of, you can't really see it because the lighting's not really great in my bedroom. You can kind of see it. You have, there's like this little like line of like holes that you can kind of see up here. But that was where I had been slipping my stitches. So like with the helical knitting method, you slip 3 stitches and then you pick up the other color of yarn. And what I was doing was slipping 3 stitches and then picking up the next strand of yarn, but I was picking up the next strand of yarn 1 stitch too early. So instead of it just being like 3 stitches that you're slipping and stuff, I was slipping 3 stitches and then having an extra stitch that was doing something weird. So I just kind of screwed up a little bit because I wasn't super familiar with it. I'd been doing it right for like the first couple of rows, and then I'd put it down and then I kind of forgot what I was doing, and then I had to like go back and look. But since it's at the back up fairly high on my neck, I'm not really bothered. If I had caught it sooner, I probably would have just ripped it back, even though mohair can kind of be really finicky when you rip back. But it's right kind of in between my shoulder blades, and if my hair is down, like no one's really gonna notice. Plus I think it'll probably be fixed in blocking because the stitch just looks looser than the others basically. So there's like 1 loose stitch that you can see for a few rows popping up every like few stitches. So I'm not super bothered by it. And again, I think I might be able to kind of fix it in blocking or make it look a little bit more subtle in blocking. So if anyone decides to notice it and point it out to me, they didn't hand knit it, so they can, you know, go, I don't know, go shove something up their butt. That was inappropriate. They can just keep unkind comments to themselves. That's what they can do. But I'm really excited for this. It's a new construction that I really wanted to learn, especially since I have a sweater that I'm trying to design myself. And I realized that what I wanted to have happen wasn't going to happen the way I wanted it to in a bottom-up construction. And I do like that you have a little bit more freedom with getting length and like fitting correct when you do a top-down sweater, because I've had issues with bottom-up sweaters kind of ending up too short. Like my car bath sweater, which I love to death, but I never wear because it's a little bit too short in the body, just means it doesn't get worn, and it makes me kind of sad because I did put a lot of effort into it. But I still love the sweater. It's just I don't have a lot of clothes that I can wear don't have a lot of clothes at the moment that I think look super great with my car bath sweater. It's more of a layering piece for me, at least, but I don't have a lot of things to layer it with, and it kind of needs to either have something layered underneath that's like a little bit longer and flowier, or it needs to be paired with high-waisted pants or skirts. And I've got the high-waisted pants part covered, but I don't have a lot of high-waisted skirts that look particularly good with my car bath sweater. So that is a goal to eventually achieve, is to find some cute skirts that look good with my car bath sweater, so that way then it can get worn more. Plus, if I'm living somewhere colder, then it will get worn more as a layering piece for sure, but I just need some more layering options. And then next up is a really simple kind of thing that I'm doing. So these are my Mardi Gras socks. This is in Desert Vista Dye Works Zombody Throw Me Some Beads colorway. What's up with this lighting? Come on. Do the things and quit getting dark. This is the sparkle self-striping sock yarn by Desert Vista Dye Works. And I've gotten this yarn. It came in kind of close to Mardi Gras, so I wasn't able to have even the first sock finished by Mardi Gras, but that's fine. I'll have these for next year. But they're just really fun. They've got clearly a purple, green, and yellow stripe with this kind of like zombie gray color of speckly red and green and gray with like little bits of purple too. So dead flesh colors. But I really like them. I think they look really good when it's all knit up. I wasn't quite sure how it was going to look. I just really wanted a Mardi Gras sock because the zombie colorway kind of looks funky when it's like in the skein and in the cake, but I like it when it's knit up. So I don't know if I want to do an afterthought heel on these or not, so we'll just have to see. I'll have to see how much I have left of the actual yarn at the end to see if I want to do an afterthought heel in the self-striping, or if I want to find a mini, or just screw the afterthought heel altogether. But that is that. I have a lot of socks to talk about. Next up on this sock train is these babies. This baby, this baby. Here we go. English. So these are just another pair of plain vanilla socks with a heel, but this is in Woolly Mammoth Fiber Co.'s natural sock. The main color is All Tricks No Treats, which is from her Halloween collection from last year. I've had this caked up for a while and just never actually casted on anything with it yet until now. And then the orange color on the heel and in the little stripe in the cuff is the spiced pumpkin colorway, I believe. I don't have the skein up here, but either way, I thought they looked really pretty together without looking like crazy Halloween, or, you know, they look kind of year-round neutral. So like you've got like these pinks and purples in the main color with little pops of yellow and orange, and then this nice rich orange color up top and on the heel. And they might be more fall colors, but I also think they look really pretty as kind of springy colors too. Or at least the All Tricks No Treats, or All Treats No Tricks colorway looks fairly springy on its own. So I figured I'd cast this on now, and then I could have some spring colored kind of socks and also some folly socks at the same time. Like they could go for both. But I really like this. Woolly Mammoth Fiber Co. does all UK based fiber, and this is non-superwash. There is no nylon, it's just wool. So it's very woolly feeling, and it's not a merino base. It is, what does it say? Oh, it's 50% BFL, 50% Cheviot, CHEVIOT. My French is not very good, and it's been a while since I've taken French, so I probably butchered that really badly. But like if you've ever felt a BFL yarn, like it feels like BFL yarn. You know, it's a little scratchy, but it's not something that's gonna bug your feet. And I have my gosh, my nose is so itchy. I have a bunch of socks that I've bought from other people that are a much more rustic wool, and honestly, like they feel the same as others' wool socks. Like I don't have any problems with like my feet itching or anything like that. But I really love these. These are really easy to pick up and just like knit a few rows on. This has been my kind of nighttime knitting. Who's ready for another pair of socks? So these have not seen a lot of work recently because I've been trying to get my boyfriend's socks done, and they are done. So I will start talking about it again because I did knit on a few rows last night. Sorry, my watch just vibrated. So these are my sister's Hermione's Everyday Socks by Erica Lueder, Lueder. Is that right? Yeah. So I've had her first sock finished for a while, and I've had her second sock kind of just sitting around. And I have picked them up. I have worked on them a little bit. Not a ton, not a crazy amount, but a few rows. And obviously last time I think I really talked about these, all I had was like a few rows done on the cuff. So progress. So I'm working on these, and I'm really loving the yarn. So this is Hue Loco, a lot of sock yarn by Hue Loco, in the Yas Queen colorway in her sparkly sock base, which I think is Glitz, whatever her sparkle sock base is. I'm really bad at remembering the names of individual yarn dyers' yarn bases, but it's sparkly, it's cute, it's speckly. And then the gray at the cuff is just an autumn and indigo mini from I have two mini sets of 5 from autumn and indigo, and I think this is from the second one, which was just kind of like a mini set grab bag kind of thing. But I'm loving how these look. They're very fun, they're pink, and I'm liking how the texture is on these. It's showing up a lot better in the Hue Loco yarn than my Hermione's Everyday Socks, which are in Barnyard Knits. But Barnyard Knits, their fingering sock weight is I think it's a light fingering. So it's a little bit finer, and I think that might be why the stitch definition isn't as much. It's a little bit harder to see the kind of the texture that's happening here with the purl stitches, which, I mean, it's not really going to show up here unless, let's see, kind of see it, it's really dark. That probably was not helpful for anybody. This one has a cute little, my sister really likes cinnamon rolls, and she makes really good ones from scratch. They're like a sweet potato, or not sweet potato, they're a Yukon Gold potato cinnamon roll. So they're really dense, so I have a little cinnamon roll stitch marker on here for her. And that's also by the No Knitter. So that is, speaking of, I haven't talked about any of my bags, but I have this housed in a Knitting Nelly bag. Her website is awesome. I really love these. They're just really nice, soft quilted bags. They don't have any of like the quilted stitches, but you know, like the patchwork quilting kind of stuff. And I've got a fair number of them. My Mardi Gras socks are living in this one. And I just really like those bags. They're really great, and I have had no issues with them holding up or anything like that. So those are my sister's socks. And then next up is another sweater, because I'm a glutton for punishment, apparently. But this is kind of in the same spot as my No Frills, and it's also another Petite Knits design. So this is the Sunday sweater, and I have all of the yoke done. So this is a yoked sweater, top down, and I've split for the sleeves, and I've started on the body. And once I finish the row that I'm on, I will start alternating skeins. But up here where I had this like kind of rib detail happening, I didn't want to be alternating skeins where I'd be slipping stitches. I felt like it might show up a little bit more, or I wasn't quite sure how to do it because I'm not very versed in the helical knitting. But now that I'm on the body and it's straight stockinette all the way down, I will be alternating skeins, and I'll be doing that on the sleeves as well. But this is Hey Sister Yarn Co.'s Smitten colorway in their Aran tweed and their mohair base. It is silk mohair and Aran, and their Aran yarn is really, really squishy, and I really like it. It's super plush, and I'm really excited to have this done. I won't be wearing this probably until winter of next year, but I wanted to cast it on, and I really love red, and so this is like a really great kind of soft, warm red, and then the tweed kind of gives you like these fun pops of the neps, and I really like it. I haven't tried it on yet because the circumference of the needles I have it on is really small. It's maybe, it's not quite hat circumference, it's a little bit bigger, so probably like a 20-inch cable, but oh well, I believe it will fit. I did swatch for this because I was having trouble getting gauge and having trouble getting the neck hole to actually stretch big enough to fit over my head. So that was a little rough. But what I'm thinking about doing with this is I'm thinking about folding this kind of gives you a little bit of like a mock turtleneck look. And I don't know how I feel about that, so I might turn and stitch the top portion down on the inside and kind of make it a hemmed edge. But so squishy, just whoosh. But I really like this. It's not getting a lot of work done right now because again, it's not something I can really wear anytime soon, but it is fun to pick up and knit. And now that like the yoke is done, I do have a much better understanding of kind of like that top down construction in a different format where it's more of a yoked sweater, because like this is my Gras pullover, and this was a bottom up construction, which is kind of unusual for a yoked pullover, but it's really pretty and it turned out really good, even though it's really kind of loose up top. But I was worried about having the puckering. But anyways, So this has been like really fun to kind of work with and see kind of how that construction works. I was very afraid of doing a top-down construction, and now I feel fairly confident, and it's not as scary, the idea of like kind of working off of like my own plan in terms of creating like a top-down sweater, because I want to make a top-down DK weight sweater, and I've already got the yarn for it. I've had it sitting around. I've had to rip back because I started it bottom up, so I'm really excited to kind of cast that on. But I want to finish my no frills and my Sunday sweater before I do anything with my own personal design, just so that way then like I don't have a bajillion sweaters on the needles at one time, because that sounds like a bad idea. But yes, next up, don't have a lot done on this, but I'm going to show it anyways because I did make some progress. These are my Evia mittens, and these are on, ooh, I got tangled. What is going on? Oh, that's all together. Okay. These are my Evia mittens. These are by, the pattern is by Skein Knits on Ravelry. And the reason I'm showing them to you guys is because I finally got past the thumb hole. So we have a thumb, and it does go on. Oh, that's the wrong hand. We have a thumb hole. Yay! And I'm doing these in Brooklyn Tweed Shelter. The gray colorway is Snowdrift. And then, is it Snowdrift? It's Snow something. Might be Snowbound. Oh, it's Snowbound. The gray color is Snowbound, and then the red is Long Johns. I love these two colors together. I want to make something else out of these two colors. I'm thinking possibly a scarf or a shawl of some sort to go with these mittens. I haven't picked these up in a few weeks, but seeing as I've got my thumb on, you know, some spare yarn, and I'm past it now, it's really gonna be just like smooth sailing. I was just lazy about doing the thumb. So this should get done pretty quickly. And again, this is probably something that's gonna be kind of put off to the side until it gets colder out, or until we get a little bit closer to fall or even winter. But these were my Christmas Eve cast on. So kind of, I feel as long as they're done before Christmas Eve of this year, 2019, I'll be good as long as both pairs are done by then. But I really love the pattern. Ellie has really great kind of color work patterns to work from, and this is part of her Sabu Mitten Club Part 2. So now you can get them all, and you don't have to wait for them to all individually be released. The club is really, really great if you're someone who really loves mittens and, you know, you kind of want to work on like a mitten a month, because you can do that. I can do socks like that too, but I usually have too many socks on the needles to do that. But either way, these are super fun. I'm really loving this pattern. I had tried to do these before with a pair of mittens for my sister for Christmas, but I just picked out poor yarn colors that weren't going to show the actual color work pattern very well, and I didn't want to put in all the effort into the color work for it to just not show up. So these are happening slowly but surely. I'm going to try and pick them up a little bit more just because it's not hard. The color work isn't difficult. I found my actual printed out pattern, which I had misplaced, so it really shouldn't be too hard to get those done because they don't take very long. And then I'll save that for last. Next up is my Bennet Sisters shawl. So this is a pattern by Lindsay Fowler for Lost and Fawn on Instagram, and I am about, I think, 15 to 10 rows away from starting the next kind of pattern section. So I'm going to start having like a stockinette section that happens. And right now it's just all garter. But this is, I think, I don't know, I don't think I've shown y'all this. Maybe. But either way, I've made a good deal of progress in the past like week or so. But this is in the Chasing Clouds colorway. It's going to be the main color, and it's by Woolberry Fiber Co. in their berry sock base. So it's the BFL base. And the second half of the pattern, you bring in a skein of mohair. So this was a kit by Woolberry Fiber Co. Bethany has really great colors. And this is the Persian rug colorway, and it's just like a really fun kind of purpley blue kind of color. I'm really excited to see how this looks held double with the Chasing Clouds colorway. I think it's going to look really pretty. I'm really excited. But this is like a really beautiful pattern. It's not hard to follow. I'm not a skilled shawl knitter, so this is kind of a fun construction. You start from this corner and knit up to the center, and then you start decreasing when you get past the middle. So I'm hoping that by the time there's a lot of stitches on the needles and I'm getting kind of fed up with it, that's when we'll start decreasing and it'll go by a lot faster. But I really love this. I wasn't sure how the blue was going to look on me, but I actually really like it. So this will be like a nice light kind of airy shawl. I think that'll be good for like transition seasons, but also look really good in the winter too. So I'm really endeavoring to try and make things that I'm going to wear and that are going to look good with things in my wardrobe, because I tend to just kind of buy things that I'm interested in, and then if they don't look good with other stuff that I have, then that's like kind of frustrating. This other project, this is my last whip. And I just casted this on the other day because I have cast on itis and I don't have a thing called patience. But I have had this skein of yarn for a little while. This is the Pumpkin Pasties colorway by Knox Yarn Co. in her Minerva base, which is 50% silk, 50% merino. And I got this around my birthday last year, so sometime in September, and this is a Harry Potter kind of themed yarn. I got it because I wanted to make pumpkin pasties for my birthday, and I did. And so I've just had it kind of sitting, and I haven't really had a project for it. I wanted something special, and like orange is not a color I normally gravitate towards, so I wasn't sure what to do with it, and I only had the one skein, so I was like, I could make socks out of it, but since they're silk and merino, I didn't really want to make socks out of it. So I decided that I wanted it to be a shawl because it's going to be soft and lovely. So this is the start of a spindrift shawl. English hard. Oh my gosh. By Helen Stewart. This is a really beautiful pattern. Hold on. Where is the front picture? Just want it. There we go. So it's a crescent shawl with eyelets along the bottom edge. This picture doesn't really doing it super great justice. You can see like there's eyelets along the bottom, and I am getting close to be slight outfit change because I needed to go move my laundry and my battery died on my camera. But anyways, so as I was saying, I am making the Spendthrift shawl, which is crescent. I felt it kind of fit with the pumpkin pasty colorway because it kind of is shaped like a pastry. But I just wanted something kind of special and something that wasn't going to take more than a skein. I don't know if I have enough yarn to do the picot bind off that this shawl has, because I am about 2 yards, yeah, like 2 yards short of what the pattern calls for, but we'll just have to see. I didn't want this to be a sock, like this yarn to be a sock, since it is 50% silk, 50% merino wool. It just seemed too nice to be socks. So this is what is happening. I'm loving how the yarn is like kind of showing up. It's got a really nice kind of sheen to it from the silk, and there's little speckles and stuff. So I'm really excited to have this done. I think it's a beautiful yarn, and I know the dyer behind Knox Yarn Co. just had a baby, so I don't know when she's going to be back to really dyeing regularly, but I'm hoping she does soon, and I'm hoping she brings the Minerva base back, because I don't think it's a regular base for her, and this was obviously like kind of a special colorway that she did. So either way, I'm just really excited to have this. It's curving really pretty, and this is a different construction of shawl from what I have done, because I have done more triangular shaped shawls. So I've done this one, and I've done the I Smell Snow shawl by B Mandarins, and I haven't done a crescent, but I'm thinking I'll like this a lot, and this will be good for layering and things like that. So plus it'll just be really soft and really perfect for the fall. But I'm in love, and that's kind of it for my whips. I don't have much else really going on other than still looking for a job, still trying to figure out where I'm going to be living in the next few months. But so I'm not sure kind of like what's happening for me in the next kind of few months, but I will be having something happen soon. I'm planning on being out of the house by the end of May and living somewhere else. So moving is happening soon-ish. But this weekend's Easter, and I'm going to a wedding tomorrow, so I'm excited. My boyfriend is the best man at this wedding, and I have never seen him in a tuxedo, so that'll be a lot of fun. And what else? I will be putting all of the information for the KCAL on the Ravelry group page. My goal is to have it as clearly written out as possible, so there's no kind of questions as to what's going on. Festive KCAL is a go. Knitting and crocheting friendly, don't forget. And yeah, I hope everyone has a wonderful yarny Easter or just spring weekend with great weather, and you know, keep knitting on, y'all. Bye.